and welcome back to Lesson 8, which we're going to be talking about ordering integers and other rational numbers. So we know that integers are a set of whole numbers and their opposites, and we learned on the last lesson that rational numbers can be fractions and decimals, that terminating decimals, or fractions, okay? So, and mixed numbers. So now let's talk about this situation in our opening exercise on example 1. So if you'll track your paper and read as I read, it says, ordering rational numbers from least to greatest. So Sam has $10 in the bank. He owes his friend Hank $2.25. He owes his sister $1.75. Consider 3 rational numbers related to this story of Sam's money. So write and order them from least to greatest. So the first thing they want us to do is to consider 3 rational numbers. So a rational number again could be a decimal, a fraction, okay, or a mixed number. Alright, so here we're going to write 3 rational numbers that represent this situation. So if Sam has $10 in the bank, would that be a positive rational number or would it be a negative rational number?
A positive.
Positive, because he has, right? Has lets me know he has it. So that means that this will be positive 10, right? So that's one rational number that I can put, $10. Rational because I have the decimal. Alright, it's also an integer because it's a what?
Because it's a whole number.
It's a whole number. I could just write it as 10, right? Alright, then it says he owes his friend Hank $2.25. So the key word here is what?
Owes.
Owes. Owes lets me know that this is what?
Negative.
Negative. Alright, so he owes his friend $2.25. So what type of rational number would I write for that?
A negative.
Negative $2.25. Just like that. Negative 2.25. Alright, then next it says he owes. Owes lets me know that this is what?
Negative.
Negative. He owes his sister how much money?
$1.75.
$1.75. So how am I going to write that?
A negative.
Negative what?
$1.75.
Negative 1.75. Alright, so have I come up with 3 rational numbers?
Yes.
I have 10, I have negative 2.25, and then I have negative 1.75. So now I have to graph these numbers on our number line. So on your paper in that blank space, I want you to draw a number line just as I have drawn on the board. Okay? Make sure in that blank space you have that number line. And now we're going to put a dot over these numbers. Now, some of them will be easy for us to put a dot on, and some of them will be a bit difficult, okay? Not really, but a little bit. Alright, so the first one is 10. So 10 will fall directly on the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So will I go to this negative 10 or the positive 10?
The positive 10.
Positive 10 because Sam has what?
$10.
He has $10. So I'm going to put a big dot on 10, okay? Then to put negative 2.25 on there. Now this isn't a whole number, is it?
No.
No, so I need to go down to what number?
2.
Go down to what kind of 2?
Negative 2.
Go down to negative 2. Now, it says it's negative 2.25. So am I going to be in between the 1 and the 2? Or in between the 2 and the 3?
Between the 2 and the 3.
Between the 2 and the 3 because I know it's 2 and it's a little more change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2.25, is that going to be closer to the 2 or closer to 3?
Closer to the 2.
Closer to 2 because this is just $2.25, right? So it's going to be about right here, kind of close to the 2. And make sure that you label that as negative 2.25 so that we know that's exactly what you were trying to put there. And make sure that it's over closer to the 2 because I know directly in the center of that would be $2 and what?
50.
$2.50. So make sure it's a little bit close to the 2. Alright, and the last number that we have to put a dot on is
negative 1.75.
Negative 1.75. Now, so that means I need to go down towards my negative numbers, which is to the left. And what number would that fall between?
1 and 2.
So here's how you know what number it falls between. You look at the first number that you're trying to plot, which is a 1, right? Mm-hmm. So I know it has to be between this number and the next number that comes after that, okay? So it has to be between 1 and what's the next number after 1?
2.
2. So it's going to fall somewhere between 1 and
2.
2. So if I have $1.75, is that closer to the 1 or closer to the 2?
Closer to the 2.
Closer to the 2. So when I plot this point, I'm going to make sure I'm closer to my 2. And make sure that you label that as negative 1.75. And we'll go back and label this one as $10. Okay? Just 10. So now we've done everything that we have to do except put them in order from least to what?
Greatest.
Greatest. So here's a little trick. You can always know which one is greater when you're dealing with positive and negative numbers. A positive number is always, say always in your head, always. Alright, always greater than a negative number. So which one of these numbers is greater automatically?
10.
10, because it's the only what?
Positive number.
It's the only positive number. So I know that 10 is my greatest number. I'm just going to label that as greatest. Now, if they ask you for least to greatest, you pull the number straight down from the left side to the right, okay? And that will automatically be in order from your least to greatest. That's only when you're using the number line. So if they say least to greatest, you pull the number straight down, and they're already in order from least to greatest. Pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So our first number that's our least number will be what?
2.25.
Negative 2.25. That's our least number. I'm pulling it straight down. That's the first dot. My second dot is what?
Negative 1.75.
Negative 1.75. Put a comma in between these, separating them. And my last dot was
10.
10. So my smallest number up here is
Negative 2.25.
and my greatest number is
10.
positive 10. That's all you have to do for example 1. So for exercise 2 through 4, it says for each problem, track the paper for me. For each problem, list the rational numbers that relate to each situation. Okay? Then order them from least to greatest and explain how you made your determination. So you're going to read exercise 2, just like we did when we said Sam has $10. I knew that was positive, right? And then when Sam owed some money, I knew that was what?
Negative.
Negative. So you're going to read this scenario. You're going to circle the key words that lets you know if it's positive or negative. And I really feel like they have already done that for you. So as I'm reading, I see that they have. So you're going to read. You're going to plot those numbers on a number line just as we did. You're going to put a dot on negative 1.50. You're going to put a dot on negative 1. You're going to put a dot on positive 0.25. It's like a quarter, 25 cents. Okay? So then you're going to put them in order from least to greatest. Just like we pulled down, pull them straight down from the left side of the number line to the right side. Okay? And then they will already be in order from what?
Least to greatest.
To greatest. So start on the left side, pull them straight down, and they will already be in order from least to greatest. Okay, so for numbers 2 through 4, that is all you are doing. Turn the page for me. On the back side, you'll see example 2. It says ordering rational numbers from
greatest to least.
So just like we did on the other example, we started pulling them down from the left side to the what?
Right.
Right side. That's when you want to put them in order from least to greatest. But when you want to put them in order from greatest to least, you start on what side?
The right to the left.
Yep. So you pull them down from the right side, and then everything else in order would be from greatest to least. So pull this one down first if I wanted to go greatest to least. So it would be this number 10, and it would be negative 1.75, and then it would end in negative 2.25. Okay, you just go in reverse. So on number 2, example 2, you're going from greatest to least. Make sure that you read the directions to see whether they're asking you to put the numbers in order from least to greatest, or from greatest to
Least.
least. Circle all the keywords that lets you know whether it's going to be positive or whether it's going to be negative, and make sure that you use a number line so that you can justify your answer and tell why one number is least or one number is greater. Turn the page to the problem set. Alright, on the problem set, you have a table that you're going to fill out. In column 1, they give you the rational numbers, okay? You'll see that they're fraction and they're decimals and whole numbers. So make sure that you look at those two numbers, retract the paper, look at those two numbers, point to the first column for me. Alright, then you're going to take those numbers, the second column says put them in order from what?
Greatest to least.
Greatest to least. Well, what if I don't know? You can always use a what?
Number line.
A number line. So on a separate sheet of paper, you can draw a number line to see which one is greater or which one is least, okay? And then on the third column, it says which one is farthest to the right on the number line. So that means that they're looking for the one that's greater, because going to the right is what kind of number?
Positive.
Positive. Now, none of the numbers on column 1 are positive, but you need to find the one that's located closer to that 0, and that would be the one that's further to the right, okay? On the last column, column 4, it says farthest to the left, so that means the one that's going to be smaller. So, again, on column 3, farthest right on the number line, you're looking for the one that's going to be greater out of these two numbers. And then when you get to column 4, farthest to the left on the number line, you're looking for the one that's going to be smaller. So you can go ahead and put greater over here, and then you can put least right here on column 4. So that'll give you an idea of what numbers you're putting in those two columns. So I wish you best of luck on the rest of this packet and on your check for understanding on lesson 8, as well as your exit ticket.